pretty decent day. The county was out removing, or is out removing, trees from around the road and the power lines. And I just stopped, asked them what they did with the logs. And they were like, well, funny you should ask. We really want to send this someplace, give it a nice home. And I said, I got a home for it. That's 19 feet of eastern white pine. And not quite able to lift it with the Bobcat, but I'm going to cut down 16 foot because I need 16 foot 2x8s for the roof system on the house. And there's another one. This one's already cut down to 16 foot. So should be able to get a few 2x8s, but that's some nice looking stuff. Yeah. It's been raining today, so I'm all soggy. But what I wanted to say was, up until very recently, I've always been reluctant to just go ask a question. But you never know, especially with these tree service companies. A lot of times they just want to get rid of stuff. So if you're like looking for lumber, logs, firewood, anything like that, and there's like the county or the city or a local tree service is out there, and they're just cutting down some trees, stop and ask them, what do you do with this stuff? Because even if they won't just give it to you, which a lot of times they will, because it saves them from like a dumping fee and having to trash stuff, they'll give it to you at an incredibly cheap price. You can get an entire truckload, if it's firewood, for a couple $100. So stop and ask, right? The question or the answer is always no if you don't ask. And that's a saying I heard somewhat recently, and I've tried to kind of live by it, right? You'll never know unless you ask, and it doesn't hurt. If they say no, or it's taken, or get out of here, then so be it. There's always next time. Can we just talk about this piece of maple right here? This is like an offcut from one of the beams that I was cutting the other day. It's huge. I think that's like 12 inch. Just over 12 inches. And it is 2 1/4 inches thick. It's a beefy slab of maple. Anyway, I'm gonna get this cut down to 16 foot. Let's hope that the Bobcat can move it, and then we'll make some 2x8s. Well, moved it. It takes everything the Bobcat's got to even think about lifting it. So I'm gonna have to get creative to get that onto the bed of the mill. I think I'm gonna take some, not those because they're super rotten, but I'm gonna take some 4x4s that aren't rotten and push them up, lean them up on the bed and then push them up. Oh look, the wood chips. I'm gonna go talk to them. All right, I'm gonna try to load this big white pine. My plan of attack is I've got 2 maple beams that are, I don't know the size, they're very robust, and I'm going to, because the Bobcat does not have enough oomph to get it up high enough to get onto the bunks, so I'm going to try to get it on down here and kind of roll it up with the Bobcat into position. So wish me luck, see if it works. It's there. This thing is massive. absolutely massive. Let me get a measuring tape here. Can I see my measuring tape, buddy? I want to take some measurements, okay? Thanks. It's really hard to capture the scale of this thing. My sawmill will do 35.5 inches between the blade guides. So on this side, over here, I'm actually gonna have to trim off a couple of inches to be able to get the saw head past this log. This is, if I measure, this is outside of bark to outside of bark, but that's 34 inches. Probably take, I don't know, 2 inches off, so that's about 32. That is a big log. Kiddo's playing in the new to me truck. So, yeah. 32 inches in diameter on this side. It is 16 feet long, and on the small end, because that's what really matters when you're sawmilling, is an equally impressive 24 inches. Really can't see it because 24 inches. So this is going to be really a lot of challenges with this. I'm going to get one pass on it to kind of get a flush cut, I think. And then I'm going to have one of two options. I'm going to have to put a strap around it and try to roll it with the tractor, but I'm not confident that this isn't going to try to roll over the bump stops because this thing is so tall. So what I need is 8.5 or 8-inch wide boards. So I might end up making a cut, coming down 8 inches, and removing that slab and then having to muscle around with it. But I'm gonna try to roll it on here first, because if I can get a square cant out of this and cut that into sections to be able to make the 8-inch board, it's gonna be way easier. So anywho, that'll be for tomorrow. Tonight it's time to enjoy some family time. This truck though, I just picked it up. I traded in my 2019 1500 Silverado. It was new, had all the bells and whistles. It probably was like the last purchase I made before I kind of made any kind of commitments to being debt free, to kind of get away from the just like buying stuff to buy stuff, keeping up with the Joneses kind of commercialism life. And it's like the last thing that really was kind of dragging me down and had me feeling guilty about the way I'd been living my life. It was very showy and classy and red and a beautiful truck. I love it and I'm gonna miss it. This is a nice 2500. It's a 2015. It's got really low miles. It's in great shape, especially for having lived up here in central New York with all the salt on the roads for the last 6 years. So I should be able to get quite a few miles out of this myself. And yeah, overall really pleased. I was able to drop my overall debt because they gave me a grunge load of money for the red truck. I was able to drop my overall debt $6,000 with this trade into this truck, which is a 2500 versus my 1500, so a 3/4 ton versus a 1/2 ton. And my loan term is approximately the same as it was, you know, left on my old loan, and my interest rate is about 2% lower. So overall, move in the right direction, but still have to pay off this balance. But I didn't incur any new debt, and I actually saved some money in the long run. So good story for me, and I've got a really nice 3/4 ton truck. The kids like it. Do you like Daddy's new truck?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you like the most about it? What do you like the most about Daddy's new truck? Do you like Daddy's new truck? Okay, good talk. Good talk. We'll see you tomorrow. That is amazing. Look at how beautiful that is. I can't get over it. I've got like a honking slab over there. I think I'm gonna turn that into like a tabletop or something for myself. Somewhere. We'll use that. I'm gonna store that, get it nice and flat. We'll make a nice little base for it one day. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. This is gorgeous stuff. So sticky, so much sap. Anyway, this is my first time playing around with really any kind of pine other than hemlock, which really isn't a pine. It's not super sappy like this. It's interesting stuff. I don't really have the right blades for this. These are a 7-degree grind, and I think you want less angle for this, so more of a blunt tooth for soft woods, but it's cutting it okay. I want to take a moment to talk about what's going on over here, what I hope will happen. That way, if it doesn't happen, we can all take a moment to laugh at my unwarranted optimism. So this is too big for me to roll with my cant hooks by hand. So what I've done in the past is hook up to the forks a series of straps, and it's hitched off over here. Goes back underneath of the log and is attached to that set of forks on the Bobcat. That'll kind of pull the log and roll it. What I'm not sure of, not confident in, is my little bump stops here, the backers, to actually prevent this thing, because it's so big, from just rolling over the edge when I try to do this maneuver. So the hope is the tractor, this is my father-in-law's idea. He came over for a minute and then abandoned me to my own devices. The tractor is there as hopefully like a backstop to prevent it from just going all the way over. That's the hope. Let's see if it works, shall we? But first, a little bit of goat juice. I'm not sure if you can see this. It's fall. Pumpkin spice season is in full effect. And I love pumpkin spice things, so cheers. Let's see if we can make this happen. Oh, it's good stuff. All right, we did it. Kind of pooped my pants there for a second, but we did it. Oh, that worked out good. I like to just make a nice courtesy glance underneath of the log to make sure that nothing got under there when we were flipping. Sometimes the that was close. That was close. We almost lost it. Oh, okay. Heart's racing. Loving it. All right. There's nothing on the bugs. This is sitting nice and flat. It's up against the stops. I'm not even going to bother locking it in at this point because there was zero chance that this thing is going to move. Let's get back at it. Another drink for the nerves. for reference in numbers, I calculated this log to weigh somewhere around 16 to 1700 pounds, so 1,700 pounds. The Bobcat is absolutely maxed out at that weight, estimated weight. This is like literally was cut down 2 days ago, so maybe it weighs more, maybe it weighs less. I don't know. But lots of meat there, lots of meat. What you saw me doing there just a minute ago is I like to take a reference point. So I've just got this. It doesn't really matter how thick it is. All that really matters for me is that it spans across the bunks, and I can lay it across here, measure up to where the pith is, go over on the other side, measure up to where the pith is, and generally make sure that I'm centered. I'm centered enough for this. I'm about 1.5 inches low here compared to that side as far as the pith goes, but I think generally the shape of the log, and again, I'm trying to get 2x8s out of this, so I don't really care that the pith is like perfect. I think this will be good enough, so we'll see the end result. So now I'm making the squaring cuts. I'm going to try to get this thing as square as I can, as best I can, given the weight of the log. But I got some tricks, including a bottle jack to kind of get it situated, and then we'll lock it in place. We'll make this cut, we'll flip it 180, we'll make the top cut, we'll have a nice square cant, and figure out how we're going to cut it. Just counted the rings on this tree. I didn't miss any or mess it up. This is about 75 or 76 years old. Old gal. 3 years older than Ray that was out here doing the work on the property. Oh, so when he was born, this was a wee little sapling. That's crazy. It was all of 70 or 80 feet tall before they cut it down. The county came through and cut down trees that were hazards to power lines. So this was coming down as part of city maintenance, and I asked them if they would give it to me, and they said, absolutely, tell us where you want it. And I got it here. So super pumped to be able to put this to actual use and not just let it go sit, you know, in a landfill somewhere and rot. Thank you, big white fur. Thank you. I think I just said thank you, white fir, and that's not correct. This is a white pine. Thank you, white pine. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here. At this point, we're 21 minutes into this log. I've cut out all of the fat and all the stuff that I really didn't think was of any kind of interest. I kept everything that I thought was interesting. So we're gonna end this part here. I'll do a second part, keep working on editing through the rest of the video, and I'll get that published sometime here in a few days or a week. So we're just gonna end it there. I wanted to do it out here in one of my favorite spots on the shores of Lake Ontario in this fantastic little oak grove. I'm actually at work. Fantastic perk of the job, in my day job. So I'm out here on my lunch break, and I like to just come out here, settle down, recenter myself, get some fresh air, listen to the beautiful sound of the lake crashing on the shores behind me, and hang out among my friends, the oak trees. That's all we're gonna have for this video, and we'll see you in a few days. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you having you along.